What are assignments and subleases? An assignment is a transaction where the lease and all of its corresponding rights and obligations are transferred from the tenant to another party, typically referred to as an assignee. A sublease is a transaction where the tenant enters into a subordinate lease agreement, or a sublease, with a party, typically referred to as a subtenant or sublessee. The subtenant agrees to perform some or all of the tenant's obligations under the original lease. However, the tenant remains primarily responsible to perform the obligations. Assignments and subleases are typically addressed in the same provision in the lease. It is important for a tenant to carefully review the assignment and sublease provision of a lease, since it may be utilized as part of the tenant's exit strategy. In the event that the tenant sells his business, the lease will be transferred as part of the sale, so it is important to determine whether the landlord's consent to the transfer is necessary, and the process to obtain any such approval. If a tenant decides to sublease all or a portion of its space, it is also important to be familiar with the sublease process set forth in the lease. As a landlord, you want to ensure that you are aware of who is occupying the premises and how they are using it. Having a procedure set forth in the lease describing what a tenant must do in order to either assign the lease or sublease the premises will ensure that a tenant either follows that procedure or risks being held in default under the lease. I have experience representing commercial tenants looking to assign or sublease their commercial or office space, as well as representing those assignees and subtenants entering into assignments and subleases. Please visit Karl Dowden Law for additional information. The content provided is for general information purposes only and should not be construed to be legal advice. Any information may be outdated and may apply to certain markets. This is attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.